This is what turned me into trading, guys. This exact trade.
This is what turned you into super trader?
Well, no, into trading. I was introduced to Mr. Jonathan Rose via the bond trade on YouTube.
You're funny. Talk to me, I'm here.
So the thought here is, what are your thoughts of mixing long NTN with short nub? It's on the spreadsheet. We were just discussing this. We would end up with like a quasi butterfly, right? Several people answered. It would kind of be like a TN butterfly of sorts, what the net position would be.
So you're talking to the nub.
But what I really like is that we're buying, but the tool is letting us know, hey, the NTN is the cheapest one based on its rank.
It's the NTN. Gotcha.
Based on its rank, and the NUB is the most expensive one based on its rank.
And okay, so NTN
So we're
against
buying the cheapest and we're selling the most expensive. All four margin.
Hey, Pablo,
I like it.
Go ahead.
just trying to think here. Let me just ask you some questions, so I just want to understand it as well. And I'm just trying to build it on my side.
Just take the
You like the screen.
Yeah, of course.
The NTN against the null.
Change.
That's what it is?
Not null, but the NUB. Do you have it?
Yes.
Cool. The TN against UB rather than ZN
against the NTN against the nub, or 8 years, so right around there, and the TN's 10 year. The nub is 10 year to 30 year. So I like it, but your risk is going to be in the nub. It's not going to be in the ZNTN. And so, Pablo, if I was just talking with you and this wasn't a Monday class, if this was a Thursday class, I would be suggesting that we play around with the ratios to try to build up the effect of the smaller piece of the curve. So, like, I like that I feel like we're not going to be able to get the curve bang for the buck that we would need if the nub rallies like crazy.
If nub rallies if it continues to rally as it has been. So pretty much if the ZB fly, if the whole the big bond duration short trade, if it continues getting more and more expensive, pretty much.
Well, it's like, even, if you look back here and then to here, you see that the nub has moved from, $12,000.
Yeah.
But the NTN, the full range is only 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't do these trades just in their normal ratio, because the normal ratio is going to get me short curve.
You're not even on both sides of the fly.
I'm not even. I would look at that as a short curve position, and I do like the position, but I would need more of this.
Got it. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we could do that, and that's something that, this is getting a little bit more advanced. When you're trading bonds and when you're trading, relative value relationships, it's all correlations. Everything is correlation. So the 4-year note and 5-year note are really freaking correlated. The 2-year note and the 30-year bond, they're not so correlated. They're not hanging out on the same street corners. 7s and 10s, they're buddies. 10s and 30s, we're getting a lot of duration there. And so that's why you're going to have a lot more volatility on this peach line.
the margin for the pink line, if you were to put that pink line on that spread, 3 TNs against 1 UB, it would be approximately $4,000, $4,500 on a margined offset account. The NTN is a bit cheaper.
So, and Pablo, this is, I mean, just speaking to you, you see how the knob is going to give you, it's going to be more of a curve trade along with the nub. It's like it's just too slow to keep up.
It is.
It just can't. And if these really, if there's news or anything that throws them up here, this is going to be, it's only really going to go here. It's just not enough curve to revalue itself like that. So if I go back and look at the last quarter, these are closer in curve, and this kind of broke away. And so you could always do these kind of analysis. Again, you see how the peach is kind of working on its own. So in order to get that to closer correlate with these, you're going to need to change your size. And that's why when we teach the bond trade, I tell you that we don't want to do that much curve unless you're super like Pablo's earned the right to do whatever he wants. He understands the risks that are involved. If you're more starting off, or if you're in the first year of learning this, be careful trading 20 years of duration.
And so, like, I think another way to say the same thing is that with the NTN, we're going from 10-year all the way out to, to 25-year, pretty much, UB, right? It's the biggest contract. So if we wanted to offset that, either we could increase the size of the NTN to give ourselves more exposure there, or rather than doing NTN, we can do, for example, let's say the 5-year contract against TN, right? Like that, to extend the amount of duration.
I feel like we're not using enough ZN. I mean, I don't know, this is so draggy compared to like consistent.
I mean, but there's only 3 years of duration there though, right? We're going from a ZN to a TN. It's like 3 years.
Yeah, but that's also why you would just need to trade double the size.
Okay, so you guys got that? Like, if we're gonna trade this against nub, we'd have to, pretty much go double the size to get us up to speed with the amount of risk that we'd be taking on a 1 lot on the nub.
I would think so. And again, I would just, like, and then that's what I'm about to do right here. If we go back to the original trade of NTN against the nub, well, let's look at the original trade, but I just gave it one extra little.
So it's going to be 5 ZNs against, against 3 TNs. Okay, got it.
And 2, I don't affect this because this doesn't touch the ZN.
Yep.
Did this give me that extra one? Just want to make sure. And this, I'm just playing around with this live, guys.
It did. No, it did. It did.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really change it that much.
The margin actually increases when you do that. The margin on the spread, like the ZN TN spread, if you doing it with 5 ZNs versus 3 TNs, that margin is higher than doing 4 to 3.
Well, that makes sense though, because they're just looking at it as 4 to 3 is the span offset, and then they're looking at it as an extra long ZN.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if we add, and if we want to take that down, if we sell a TN, that would take the margin down, but if we buy a ZN, that would take the margin up.
Yeah. And somebody just made a comment about NTN kind of reminds me of how natural gas is compared to the other energy contracts, just sort of flat. And to that, my friend, I say, you haven't been around to see some of the killer moves that a single natural gas contract is able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is tame for a long time, but then every once in a while, like it just rips, it moves, that thing moves.
It's a dangerous contract. It's like selling volatility when the VIX is at 12. You're going to make money usually, except when you don't, and you're going to get your face ripped off.
There's a particular time of the year where in natural gas, there's a spread that they have called the Widowmaker. And I believe that's for a reason.
I love that.
Yeah.
I remember you sending me over that trade.
Yeah.
So the overall message, guys, please, is not to take this trade with an extra ZN. The overall message is look at how I played around with it, go back and look how it's behaved in the past. And you can see with that extra one, look at it, made a huge difference back then. Now it's got, now it had enough firepower. Look at it, it's not dragging anymore.
No, it's perfectly tracking it.
Perfect. It's a much better ratio. I mean, just by doing this. And that's okay. You can play with the ratios. Now Pablo, now I like it actually a lot more with this ratio, looking back and how they behaved every time it's come back. If we go back using these.
And I love how you just taught me a brand new concept that I had never thought of.
Oh, with the duration, yeah, it's important. It's duration risk.
Yeah, yeah. I had never thought of solving a duration risk problem doing what you did.
Yeah, and FYI, guys, I added an extra ZN because we need to get a little bit more of a curve steepen. And so that's why you add the lowest duration rather than looking to buy a UB or buy a ZB. You want to buy the shortest duration because I need to get more curve. I'm only laughing because I know this is getting a little ahead of ourselves, but it's a cool lesson. And this is what I love about trading, trying to put these kind of puzzles together. This is what kind of like really, really fires me up.
And notice, guys, how Jonathan's chart looks different than mine, but we're looking at the exact same thing. Jonathan just happens to be using a 1 hour chart that it resets the cycle at the beginning of the quarter. It looks like he's starting his data on the April 1st. So that's why mine looked a bit different, but we're looking at the exact same data.
What was your thought?
It was on yearly, yeah. Well, yearly, and then I had it on a daily aggregation, but I don't think it's necessary to change it. But anyway, yeah, that's what I had. It included the whole,
The whole year.
yeah, the March event.
Oh, right. So if I just go back to the beginning of the year, holy shit. Holy shit. Oh, wow. Okay, it's settling in there a little bit.
So
Wow.
that's what I was looking at. So, okay, so with your NTN modified.
What is yours at here, P&L?
Ours is, hold on, ours is negative $5,156.
To 14, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. For the nub, yeah, for the nub, we're at 13,750 for the nub.
So Pablo, are you still long ZB puts?
Yes, I am. I carry that position. Even though, I don't know, rates may go down. My gut feel is that eventually we will have a back end of the curve sell off. So yes, I do carry those puts. They're expensive to carry, but I hold them. They're part of my portfolio.
And the reason I add, by the way, this is if you add 2 ZN, it matches them up with the 2 extra outrights. If we go back, to 5, which is the one higher than we usually have it at 4.
Mm-hmm.
And if I put it at 5, and the reason I was asking you if you're still long those puts, having the extra ZN makes it a no-brainer for your position because you're covered on the downside.
So what you're saying is using long ZN to offset the ZB puts?
Yep. So because if you think it through, and if curve gets annihilated, so if this comes all the way down here, it's going to be on the sell-off. If curve flattens a ton, it's going to be because rates are going higher, and you'll make money on the bigger one, which is this is the real money to make, right? This coming down to 4, where you can make 10 grand, and this hopefully you lose 4 grand or 3 grand. But the reason it's synergistic with your position of being long TLT puts is if those puts lose money, they're going to lose money because notes and bonds rally. You're going to benefit by having the extra one here, and you're going to be able to win on this side of the trade if you lose on your TLT. If your TLT becomes a big winner, you're going to win on this side of the trade. You lose on this side of the trade, but the small loss here is going to be offset by your TLT.
Totally, by the TLT and by the
and by here
on the NTN side, by TN selling off more than ZN in this case.
Right. Either way, this is the correct position if you didn't have risk on, but with that risk on, it makes it more of a no-brainer because it allows you to hedge that too.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Makes sense. There's a question. Can we see what it does with 2 more lots of ZN as ZN moves really slow? I think Jonathan did that. He went. Oh, sorry. What were you saying, Jonathan? That it does not move slow?
Yeah. Don't think that ZN moves slow. This is adding 2, and it's gonna be at 13,000. Okay.
Wow.
This is why these. I mean, I love that we're going through these exercises and just having Pablo and I kind of go back and forth in this forum, because you really get to see how we kind of research the trades, but how flexible it is to be able to change ratios like that. It was something we could never do before. I absolutely love it. Great trade. And what was the full margin on this thing, Pablo? With
so on the original idea of NTN versus NUB, the total margin was 7,800.
What do we do with it now? What with that extra ZN?
With that extra CN, let me check. It should go up by maybe an extra 1,000 or so, 1,500.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. Funny. As soon as we get off, guys, I will put this trade on, and I'm just gonna hold it with the extra one. Love it.
But you're like this butterfly thing that you're.
Yeah. I'm gonna put on this exact trade.
All right, so 6 short TNs. How many long ZNs? 6 or 5? 5. Let's do 5.
5.
And then 1 long UB. The margin for that would be it goes down 7,100.
So we're buying 5, selling 3, and then selling, so it's 5, 6, 1.
So now if I do 561,
Yeah, it's 5.
now
6,
it goes up. Now that goes up to 9,000. And if I go back to the original, which is negative 6 TNs, and then 4 long ZNs and 1 long UV, the margin on that is 7,800. So actually increasing it on the ZN leg, if we bump it up by 1, we actually bring down margin. If we bump it up to 6, there we bring up the margin, like showing the additional risk that you wanted to take.
Yep. That makes perfect sense. And it also makes sense to me as like before you, like on the old ratio, this was -1. Now it's 3. So there's less of a difference between them with that extra 1. That makes sense why margin's going to be lower. These margins are not with Thinkorswim. These margins are with companies, with future firms that specialize in futures that give you margin offsets. Okay, if you have any questions about that, guys, please just email support@masterstintrading. We're happy to help you. All right, Pablo, this is awesome. Guys, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Adam, perfect. Glad you guys enjoyed that. For those out there, guys, if this was, and I understand this takes some time to learn, but if you are interested in learning this is our bond bootcamp. Go on the website, learn this trade. It's the foundation of everything that we do.
This is what turned me into trading, guys. This exact trade.
This is what turned you into super trader?
Well, no, into trading. I was introduced to Mr. Jonathan Rose via the bond trade on YouTube.
You're funny. All right, guys, that was a lot of fun. Pablo, ton of fun, buddy. Let's, I'll talk to you.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, bye.